Hi everybody, hope you're all doing really good. As you know, I read Crisis of Conscience twice. I've got it on the computer just there. And now I've either missed something in this particular book, or it's not actually in. But I was looking for some examples from Raymond France regarding there may be a culture of cover-up within the hierarchy. And him being a former member, you would have thought he would be in the know. And I couldn't find anything. And I find that surprising, because if there's thousands of cases of child abuse that go back to the 1950s, then certainly a former member of the governing body would know that. He would have some evidence of that. But there's nothing in the Crisis of Conscience. Even though at the time when he was writing that book, it would have been probably a dedicated chapter if it was such a serious thing. And yet there's still nothing. And I just wonder why. I'm not saying the child abuse didn't take place, but what we need to establish is the culture of cover-up. Was it propped up by the hierarchy? As a lot of people have suggested, that the rottenness of the barrel is because of the leadership. And I can't find any evidence that can support that. And that's surprising. Very, very surprising. I mean, Raymond mentions the fact that all is not well in JW camp within the governing body status, and gives his reasons for saying so. He's entitled to have that opinion about the way he felt. That was a personal observation, having been a member, so he was entitled to get that off his chest. But if there are thousands and thousands of cases, and who am I to say there isn't, then if there are thousands of cases, and Raymond was a missionary along with his wife, Cynthia, then he would have known. He would have known if there was things being covered up. But he doesn't make any mention. And the fact that he doesn't make any mention is because perhaps there was no evidence to be gathered. But since Raymond's passing, everybody's found this new voice and said that the governing body were fully aware of a culture of cover-up. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they were. I'm not sure whether there's a case to answer for them. I'm not saying that child abuse didn't take place. I would warmly suggest that within that religion there has been people that have brought their former practices into the Jehovah's Witness religion. Not left things behind, but brought all these heinous practices and just tried to carry on and integrate themselves, but at the same time not leave things behind. And there may have even been occasions when some elders have maybe not reported things, thinking, so this will all be sorted out in Jehovah's good time. But the real crunch matter really is whether the governing body were fully aware, and thus withholding facts that could prove there was a culture of cover-up. Because if that was the case, I'm absolutely 100% sure that Raymond would have documented it in the Crisis of Conscience. But he didn't. And the fact that he didn't, when really he had nothing to lose, he was leaving everything behind at that point. He'd totally given up then, hadn't he? He would have sold many more thousands of copies if he'd have dedicated a chapter to a culture of cover-up of child abuse within the hierarchy. But he doesn't. He doesn't because, was he protecting his former comrade, so to speak? Was he looking at the future on this and thinking that this just was not a way to sell a book? That this was sensationalism, going beyond what would be the normal practice at that time? I don't know. I just know that I haven't found any reference. If you found a reference in the Crisis of Conscience that gives me a little bit of a hint that just maybe things were going on in that religion, heinous things, and it was being covered up, if you found that evidence, then please share it. But I've read it twice, only the twice. Maybe I'll read it again. Maybe I have missed something, I don't know. You know, I'll be the first to admit. If I've made a mistake, I don't mind apologising. You know, we all don't always have all the facts all of the time. I've said this in the past, it's only God that has the facts all of the time. We just have some facts some of the time. And half the time we're guessing. So the purpose of this video is to reach out to find out if Raymond knew something that he just didn't dare to share in the Crisis of Conscience. Because for me, that would be an all-telling point on whether we can prove once and for all that the culture of cover-up was indeed at the highest level, filtering down through the ranks, which at this early stage now I still don't have enough evidence to suggest. Even though in America they're going after a group of people and they've got specific lawyers on the case now that are looking into these things, will they find enough evidence? Will they find what they're looking for, that it starts at the highest level and the instruction is then passed down to never report? Thank you.